4 rookies are going to be starting for this defense. What do you think about that to be a part of that? And what do you think of this defense, the potential is for this defense?
Yeah, it's an honor and a blessing to have the opportunity to be out here. And, of course, the guys that I came in with, this is an exciting time for all of us, get the opportunity to have and experience our first regular season game. And, I'm just excited and fired up for the guys to get out here and compete.
There's always so much talk about, veteran leadership and rookies. But, do you feel like the rookies will bring a different type of energy to the game, especially with, with a mix in with the veterans?
I feel like we, since training camp, have got along so well with rookie, vet, don't matter who you are. We've gotten along so well that it's a family mindset for us that when we go out and take the field, we work and we fight for each other.
How did you keep yourself mentally sharp when you were dealing with a lot of injuries throughout that training camp?
The film room, staying engaged with the guys and staying engaged for what we have to do.
How does it feel different getting ready for week 1 in the NFL compared to college?
I feel like it shouldn't feel different. I feel like you should have the same mindset of going out there and going to win a football game.
Has anyone helped you kind of get that game week routine sharp? Has anyone kind of given you tips along the way to make it?
There's a lot of guys of body maintenance and things like that, making sure you're the best to your ability, health-wise, and getting up to the game. But of course, with coaches and guys helping out and supporting us, just get ready for the game.
Obviously, there's a lot of juice anytime it's week 1, the opening game, but you're also now going up against the Buccaneers. So how does that feel to go against a division opponent in week 1?
I'm excited. That's how you start the season off. You start the season off right and going against a well-rounded team.
Jalon, when you're going up against Tampa, which you just talked about, they have so many different weapons offensively. What kind of jumps out to you about the way they work on offense?
Just their playmakers. They have a lot of playmakers. Their quarterback is an exceptional quarterback. Has been in the league for a long time. And then my initiative is just to get them on the ground. And the guys who are working around us goes to the receiving core down to the running backs. It's just a well-rounded team. And I believe that we put in the work and prepare the right way to handle these guys.
Similar to how you would answer questions about every week in the SEC is a test, every week in the NFL is
Most
a test.
definitely.
But week 1, you're starting against Tampa, who has won the division 4 straight times now. How much do you think that can set the tone for what you guys want to accomplish?
It'll set the tone for the season. Start the season right and start the year off right with a win. We always strive for getting a win week in with week out, and then opportunity for us to go out there to do so, and we just have to capitalize and conquer on that.
And how insane is this rookie class? There's 2 starters in the secondary. You and JPJ are going to get plenty of time as well. And then, of course, Jack Nelson will come along eventually.
Right.
But this defensive rookie class is nuts. How would you describe you guys?
We drafted well. That's all I have to say. We just drafted well.
Jalon, how big of a loss is that for them that Tristan Wirfs will be in there? Just you guys getting to go against
Right.
the backup.
I mean, me being able not to play against him before, but watch him play, he's a phenomenal athlete, phenomenal tackle. You see the statistics and things and his accolades and things like that. Hate that he suffered that injury. You never wish that on anyone. But, of course, next man up mentality for anybody and every team. And, of course, we're just excited to just be out there, but, just go against the new tackle that's starting as well.
Jalon, when we talked to Coach Morris, he was saying you and James are obviously going to get a lot of run as the season progresses. But for you guys, how do you make yourself comfortable enough to just kind of fly around in that first game?
Trusting your training, going out for practice and being in your playbook, the notes that you take, don't overthink anything. I've been playing, the word from everybody I've been hearing from, you've been playing football your whole life. And that's a correct statement, so you shouldn't make it more difficult than it needs to be.
Is that what you were told when you were chomping at the bit to get back out there? Raheem had to be like, okay, we're being extremely cautious with your health. Let's hold you back for now. Is that the message he relied on?
That's just a message I've heard all throughout camp. It was just me biting at the bit. It's just me being biting at the bit, just being anxious, trying to get back out there.
Has there been any special piece of advice that maybe one of your veterans, a coaching staff, somebody in your life has given you to kind of prep you for your first week in the NFL?
Just like I said, just being out there, and you've been playing the game your whole life. Don't overcomplicate it. Don't ever overthink it. And just be where your feet are. Just play by play.
What's the ticket request look like?
Family comes first. You get that right, but have the opportunity to have my younger brother come to the game. So he'll play on Saturday, and then he'll come up on Sunday to our game. So it'll be a great opportunity for him.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yep.
But do you have a lot of friends and family that want to come or be there?
Yeah, of course.
Oh yeah.
Of course. Yeah.
The moment's finally here for you, man. Rookie season in the NFL. Hardly anybody ever gets to that point.
Correct.
Truly, how excited are you? I assume this is one of your dreams, probably.
Most definitely.
How are you excited to actually see that come to fruition?
Like I said, I had a moment with Greg Beatles, our team president, about the time that I ran out for the first time. You know, I'm ready to experience that again before a regular season game. You know, that all that excitement will show on Sunday.
How are you feeling physically going into this week?
I feel really well, really good.
Did you learn anything just about yourself and your body with some of those little tiny, you know, nicks and bumps to maybe take care of yourself a little bit different or recover a little bit different?
Lots of trick of the trade for things like that, going into the training room, nutrition, all things comply together. Just knowing my body, what's best for my body.
Okay, so obviously week 1 is a big one. It's your first game as an NFL player, your first start as an NFL player. What are the emotions and thoughts behind that?
Yeah, it's definitely an exciting time. Like I said, it's my first, career start, but at the same time, I had a little warm-up with preseason, so I'm not as nervous, but just a little nervous. I mean, everybody's going to have some nerves coming into your first career game, first start, but I mean, I've been preparing. I had all summer OTAs, so just ready for the moment, ready to go out there.
What do you see on film when it comes to Tampa? Obviously, they have a lot of weapons on offense to work with.
Yeah, like you said, they have a lot of weapons. Ibuka, Mike Evans, they have a good quarterback, good running backs. I mean, that's the NFL. That's what I'm starting to learn is, a lot of teams are loaded with talent, but, especially those guys got a good receiving corps, so it's going to be a challenge, and we're excited.
What about Mike Evans stands out other than the fact that he's Mike Evans? We can go on about that alone.
Right, yeah. I mean, I just think he plays truly hard. You can tell he's been in the league for a long time. He's a vet. The way he plays the game, he plays like a vet. They want to get him the ball, so he's a weapon, and they're going to make sure he gets the ball.
We've talked about this a lot, just your relationship with Jesse and learning from him. I know that's helped you come along in the offseason, but what is it about being alongside him that's maybe going to help you a little bit just in your rookie year?
Honestly, I think the biggest thing with Jesse is just who he is as a person. You're coming into something completely new. You're coming into the NFL. You don't really know what to expect. You don't know if guys are going to be welcoming, and he's been very, very welcoming, and I feel like that's made me feel more comfortable being out there in the field, especially being with him. He's a true leader, so it's been good.
It's surreal being here, just talking about Jesse Bates as a teammate, going up against Mike Evans, and knowing that this is your game week. This isn't just something you're watching.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, every time I step into this locker room, it's kind of crazy. I'm really in the NFL. It kind of hits me every day, and I'm just so blessed and thankful to, truly have this opportunity. But at the same time, I put in a lot of work to get here, so I don't want to think too big of it and mess myself up or overlook it.
Mike told us that he got some tips from Matt Ryan, how to prepare for a game week. Who has kind of helped you to prepare for a game week, and how's that different compared to training camp?
Yeah, obviously Jesse, kind of the right-hand man to me now. I got to kind of follow his lead. He's been in the league for a long time. He's played at the high level for a long time, so kind of just following his lead. Jordan Fuller as well, he's a good vet to listen to as well. So.
How did you find out you're going to start?
Safety coach kind of just came into the room and was like, all right, I'm going to tell everybody you're going to be starting. It was me and Jesse in there. It was like 7:40 a.m., 7:50. He kind of just came in and was like, all right, you're going to be a starter. I was like, all right, cool. And then, yeah. And then we just went straight to meeting. So.
How's working against some of the dynamic receivers that the Falcons have in practice prepare you for a guy like Mike Evans and some of those other focused receivers?
Yeah, I mean, they prepared me well, prepared the whole defense well. Got a lot of talent over there as well. So, I mean, they couldn't have gave us a better look. They're talented as anyone in the NFL. So
You've got plenty to worry about as a rookie, but you're part of a draft class where there's 2 of you starting in the secondary, and then obviously the first-round draft picks are going to get their fair share of playing time as well. What does that say about your rookie class?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like we got a pretty good class.
Yeah.
Once I seen everybody who was all drafted, and once draft night was over, we all felt pretty good. It was like, all right, this is going to be a special class. So, obviously, like you said, me and Billy starting, Jay Walk and JP getting in there, and then Jack Nelson on the other side, he'll start ramping up as well. So I think this rookie class is going to be special.
There's always so much talk about rookies, young guys starting versus veterans, but do you feel like you guys can add maybe something different, a little bit more energy than maybe some veterans would bring coming in?
Yeah, I feel like we're all different, I don't know, we're just different people, different age groups. I mean, the younger guys, we might have more swag, a little bit more fun out there. I mean, everybody's going to have fun, but we just bring something different to the field. Especially, I think me and Billy's play styles are just, different than a lot of people on this team. We go out there and we're just kind of just playing out there with our hair on fire. So I feel like kind of us two, we're going to do some good things.
When you found out you were starting, I know it was early in the morning. Once you were able to compartmentalize and realize it, who was the first person you called?
Obviously my dad, mom and dad told them, they're my biggest supporters. I'm the only child, so I got a good relationship with them. So I told them.
That's awesome.
What are your expectations? I know Darnell might be on a pitch count just as he works his way back in. What are your expectations for Sunday? And for your playing time?
Yeah, I just want to go out there and be the best me.
Yeah.
You start to visualize things and put numbers in your head that you might want to have and you shoot for, but that's just extra pressure. The only thing that I can control is this week of practice and the process that I go through. So I just want to keep stacking these days and put the work in and see what the outcome might be.
Feels like your confidence is taking a jump this training camp. Is that accurate? That's the way it looks from the outside.
For sure.
Why, I guess is the question.
I just think, the longer you play this game and you put things in the perspective of time, in this window of time that we have to play this game, it comes and goes. And, you could keep having the mentality of, next year, the next year, this or that. And obviously you don't want to force it and try to, chase something, it's gonna come to you. But, sometimes you just get tired of sitting back and let things come your way. So I think more than anything, the mental approach. I think the work has always been there and stayed the same and been consistent, but I just feel like things are starting to come together, and all the years of work and preparation, finally are starting to create an image. And I'm just excited, to go out there and play football. It's a sport. As much as this is a business, this is a sport that I played since I was like 6 years old. So anytime I get out there and I can play football, it's a blessing. So I'm having fun with it.
Were you a baseball player growing up?
Mm-mm.
The reason I ask is you strike me as the type of guy who would run into the outfield wall all the time. That seems to be no offense, that just seems to be the way that you
just
play.
Crash out into it.
100 miles an hour all the time, no matter what. Is that sort of how you try to approach it?
For sure. I tried out for the baseball team in high school and ran a couple bases, and you're supposed to have the banana effect or technique when you run around the bases.
Yeah.
I was out there running slant routes every time, so I was out there for 20 minutes, and my coach was like, "You got to get out of here."
Back to football.
But yeah, I've always been 100 miles an hour. Whether it was playing defense in Pop Warner, I think that's where I kind of got my physicality from.
Yeah.
But my head's always on fire when I'm out there. So I know I can play fast. So just, when there's times when I need to have tempo and control things and slow things down a little bit, I think that's what I'm focusing on the most right now.
I think Drake mentioned that he has seen you go from mentally 100 miles an hour to it feels like for him it's slowing down for you and you're able to, see it a little better. Is that right?
For sure. I think when you watch more film, the more film that you watch, you get to see the game slow down a little bit. And also, all the reps from training camp going against guys and seeing different looks, you get to have a better feel on your routes and your understanding of where you need to get and the timing that the quarterback has too. You're not just out there, running routes and getting open. You can be open, kill a guy, and break him down and do everything you can to have the cleanest route ever, but you also got to beat the rush. So just understanding timing and spots on the field, I think, is important.
Random topic. There are, I think, 5 or 6 left-handers on this offense. How weird is that to you?
Yeah, I'm one of them.
Right, I know.
It's like me, Mike, Bijan, Drake, Red.
Oh, that's right, Red. We forgot Red Newsel.
Newsel. Is that 7?
That's more.
Is Mooney left-handed?
I think Mooney might be right-handed.
Okay. But we forgot about Red.
Yeah, there's
so potentially there could be 7 offensive left-handers on the field.
It's got to be the most in the NFL.
Yeah.
It's got to be.
That's random.
That's not a coincidence either.
When did you realize that you were surrounded by, fellow goofy-footed people?
I think one day we're just throwing the ball around and we're all like, yeah. Did you just throw that with your left? They're like, wait, did you just throw that with your left? We're like, yeah. We're like, great minds think alike.
Thank you, Casey.
Yes, sir.
Casey, going back to the timing aspect between you and Mike, when did you feel like that timing was really starting to click and starting to turn into something that could give you the training camp that you had?
I think, since our rookie year, that's kind of when it started. We used to have walkthroughs. We're at the rookie stand at the hotel. We used to have walkthroughs, and we used to get out there together and, go through things and kind of the mental side of it. Once we got to start doing things on the field last year, I think is when it kind of started to come fruition. And then this offseason, we went to LA and had a little, route throwing session. And that's kind of when things, I felt like, started to click a little more. And then this training camp, just got more opportunities to catch the deep ball and have those reps and looks. So I just think it continues to grow, and I'm excited to where, it's going to go. Obviously, going into this game, going into every game that I've ever played, there's nerves and, there's anxieties of what could happen and what's going to happen. But I'm just excited. Like, this is a dream to me. It's always been a dream. So just to have this opportunity to go out there, I'm not going to put too much pressure on myself about it. I'm just going to try to enjoy it and have fun and see what happens.
This does feel different, and you do feel different, even the way that you're describing week one. Why is that? Is it the mentality shift that we've been talking about for the last 20 minutes, or is there something else that you can pinpoint?
I think I'm just getting a little bit more mature, whether it's with football or away from football. Sometimes, I'm a late bloomer sometimes in life. Kind of always been behind. I haven't been the smartest guy in the classroom. Even in football, I haven't been the best on picking up on the playbook. But I think there's a feeling that I've gotten that it's like things are starting to click a little bit up there. So, with football and away from football, I just think life is slowing down a little bit for me, and I'm enjoying it.
Every single athlete in the NFL that talks about the game slowing down and it coming to them, that seems like that feeling that you're getting, or at least that's what you're describing. When did you notice the game start to slow down a little bit for you?
I'd say OTAs. I got a lot of reps in OTAs. I think still then I was like holy cow, like this, like it's like drinking from a water hose. The information that you're getting, all the looks that you're having to digest, it's a lot. But I think that was the start of me really realizing, there's only so many amount of plays that could be called in a game. There's going to be a script that we focus on during the week, and really being able to be intentional about, the play calls that are going to be called, my detail within the route, and really making sure everything off the field is taken care of, my controllables that I can carry on to the field. I think that's what allows me to have the most peace when I get on the field and just able to flow and be free out there.
Last one for me. I'm not asking you to single out one person because of their route running, but who on this team do you feel like is really detailed in their routes that you've kind of gravitated towards and tried to ask them questions or take this next step?
I think recently Drake, just his ability to go out there and play. Like every time he's on the field, there's not you can just watch him play. There's not a lot of thinking going on. It's just him lining up. He's loose in his stance. He gets out there, he runs his route, and it's smooth. So I think from that side of his game, I'm trying to learn how to, relax, and have fun, because I think that's when the biggest plays, come to you. And also Mooney, I know he's out right now, but just his ability to separate at the top of his routes. I've seen a lot of football, and he's special. His ability to create space and to get into DB's blind spots, you can coach that, but the ability to do it is something special. So I think it's cool.
Are you ready to start if Mooney can't go on Sunday?
Hell yeah.
Appreciate y'all.
All right, now one more. I'm sorry. Really jumped off the page doing the gunner work, especially against Tennessee. Where did that mentality come from, and can you handle that in the game too?
The gunner reps?
Work, yeah.
Yeah, I like to think I can handle anything the coaches put me. in
I
the
was
do.
kind of like, I didn't know he was that fast. He was rolling.
Yeah, I got some speed to me.
Okay.
I got some speed. You know, my whole career, I've always thought I could run, you know, but I've always been the guy like, oh, is he a possession receiver? Like, does he have enough speed? But I think now, you know, that my coaches are recognizing the speed, and it's become an attribute to my game, I like to think. I'm going to take advantage of it. And if it's special teams with gunner reps, you know, Marquise always talks about our first move is speed. So, you know, just being out there and, you know, playing fast is something that I can rely on now.
So there's just so much talk about like, this O-line is changing going up to week 1. Just how are you feeling personally with this offensive line and what your role is?
I'm feeling really good, you know. I've been with this room. This will be my 3rd season, you know, pretty much the same room. So they're comfortable with me. I'm comfortable with them. So I feel good.
Who's kind of helped you maybe make an adjustment? Have you had a chance to talk to Caleb at all?
No, not really talking to Caleb, but I guess just kind of, you know, getting with Coach Led and, you know, talking to Chris a little bit and just kind of getting with the center, Newsel, and just kind of getting on the same page with everything. I think that's kind of helped.
When it comes to a lefty quarterback, like Mike, have you had extra conversations with him, just kind of like making sure to protect him and things like that, or what does that look like?
No, I haven't had any extra conversations. I mean, I think the standard is the standard, you know what I'm saying? I think, you know, it's not like, oh, I'm going to protect you a little extra this time. Like, everybody's working the same, you know, throughout the all 5 to protect them all the same, you know, so it's not like a little extra this play, a little extra that play, you know, it's the same all the time. So we're going to work our ass off to protect them, you know.
Elijah, you've started games here in the past, obviously at a different position, but what's different about where this offense is right now versus when you were here the last time?
You know, well, for me, I guess, you know, not being at guard and being at tackle, I guess that's a little bit different, you know, but it's pretty much the same thing, you know, from back then, kind of just all the same stuff, I feel like.
Do you feel like there's any, I guess what I'm getting at is just the guys around you, not necessarily you, because I know guard tackle, 2 different things, but the guys around you, what is different about that?
Man, really nothing. I mean, you got a different quarterback, but that's pretty much it. I mean, it's been the same room, you know, since I was here, I guess, 21, you know, with those guys. So, you know, aside from Dalman being gone and, you know, Caleb being down, it's pretty much the same room.
What made you want to come back here after that year in Arizona?
You know, honestly, when I played here in 22, you know, I bought a house here, and, you know, I was like, it kind of makes it easy, you know, because going back home
Right.
and being out west, you know, all my stuff was out there, so I was like, yeah, I'd rather go back home and make it easy for the wife and kids and all that.
Did you feel like you fit right back in terms of it was an easy transition to come back?
Oh yeah, definitely easy transition. You know, I Led knows that I understand the standard in the room, and you know, it was just kind of, you know, a welcome home moment. You know, coming back and just kind of getting back in the swing of things with the guys.
Michael Penix said he doesn't have to come to you every day and, you know, say he has confidence in you, but what has that relationship been like with you and MP9, kind of developing that tackle quarterback relationship?
I think it's just all being on the same page, and you know, everybody working together. You know, they call it a unit for a reason. So I think, you know, everybody's on the same page. You know, News is calling the call, and we run it and we execute it. That's how it goes. So I think it's just him being comfortable with everybody doing that up front.
Hey, I was checking out your Instagram, and you like had a lot of coming out the tunnels, leading out the tunnel pictures. What's your take on, you know, leading from the front and so forth?
You know, it's funny. I used to do that when I was back here playing guard a couple years ago. It's just a thing of mine, you know, just setting the tone, being up front, man, front line general, you know what I'm saying? So just being up front, being ready for war and ready to go. So that's the kind of approach I take to it, and, you know, that's crazy you say that just because, like, that's just my mindset with it, you know, to get ready for battle, you know, lead them, you know? So that's my mindset with it, lead them.
What's your film study of Hassan Reddick?
Same as it is, you know, every week with every guy, you know, looking at his moves and all that type of stuff, how he plays the run, how he plays the pass. You know, same with Yaya and Braswell behind him. So, you know, same thing, you know, as I do every week with all the other guys.
Who's the most famous UMass alum, you or Dr. J?
If I had to say, I'd say me or Victor Cruz, you know, or Marcel Shipp. And then we got Dr. J and Canby, so, you know, we'll throw them in there.
Aside from the way that you approach your film study, what jumps out to you, especially about a guy like Hassan Reddick who can move around a lot?
I mean, shoot, great pass rusher. You know, you heard about him throughout the league, you know, the fiasco with the Jets and all that type of stuff. You really can't, like, I played premier guys before. You can't put them in that limelight. You know, they put their pads on just like you do. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, plays called, you run it, you block them. Like, you know, it's not really, you know, anything crazy different, you know, than any other week.
Elijah, to go back to that day that Caleb got hurt, you were the right tackle that was called upon to finish practice the rest of the day. What is going through your head at that point in terms of just making that instant adjustment, and then since then kind of being able to kind of settle yourself in that role?
You know, I mean, I played right tackle before in Denver and kind of some other spots, but just, you know, next man up was the thought in my mind, and you know, just being ready for the opportunity. So, you know, they called my number and got in there and got ready to finish practice. So, you know, I guess the mindset shift kind of came after that, but, you know, my mindset was finishing practice at that moment and filling in for Caleb, who we didn't know what was happening at the moment. So.
Obviously, it's the next man up league, but, you know, already being here a couple of seasons and the guys in the line already knowing you, do you think that made the transition for you stepping in a little bit easier?
Yeah, I think that made it a lot easier, just, you know, having already played with the guys before and, you know, them not worrying about someone new who hasn't been here with them. I think that made it a ton easier for them to not only trust me, but just be able to plug me back in there because I know most of the offense and be able to roll with it.
Obviously, it's game week jitters. You're excited to get out there, take this test for this team, but the fact that it's Tampa week 1, how much do you think that can set kind of a precedence for what you guys want to accomplish this year?
I think it's a great opportunity. Obviously, they're a great team, and Coach Bowles has done phenomenal. And they've controlled the division for the last couple of years, and they got a great front with Vita, Kalijah, and, you know, everybody they got over there. So I think it's a great test for us, and I think, you know, week 1, every week's important. So just, you know, put our best foot forward and, you know, trying to eliminate all mistakes.
How much confidence do you guys have in Elijah Wilkinson?
Immense. Elijah's a true pro. I mean, this is now, I think, his 8th or 9th year. He's played tackle. He's got like 20 starts. So Elijah's been phenomenal. And then just getting the reps together the last 2 weeks has been really good. So it's coming along fast. Obviously, it has to come along fast. You just mentioned that. How seamlessly do you think it has worked to plug him in there and get him ready for week 1? I definitely think it's been pretty quick. Elijah's been great. And the good thing is that he's got familiarity in the offense. He knows the way I like to play. And then just talking through things with each other, and he's done a really good job.
You mentioned Vita Vea. With him specifically, what challenge does he pose to the offensive line?
He's just one of the most powerful guys in the NFL. He's one of the best nose guards in the NFL, and he does a great job being really disruptive in the run game and pushing the pocket in the pass game. So, you know, he's one, like I said, I can't compliment him enough, and, you know, we get to play him twice a year, so I have a real appreciation for the way he plays.
Named it captain for the second year. What does that mean for you?
It's amazing. Just being voted out by your peers is really special. So just super grateful for these guys and thankful to be a part of this team.
We're close. We can do one last question.
Been able to watch Michael Penix Jr. towards the end of last year. Obviously, he kind of took over, and then through OTAs, training camp, all that stuff. What is different about him now in week 1 that you saw as you've been able to watch all along?
I think you can just see his confidence grow and his personality show more. And I think he's comfortable with us. He's comfortable with the offense, and he's comfortable now in kind of that leadership role and pushing guys. And Mike's phenomenal.
Where are you all at in the return game and trying to get things prepared for the season opener on special teams?
I mean, yeah, today was a big return emphasis. You like to do that early in the week. I feel like we got some things to clean up, but, you know, we're looking sharp out there. You know, we got all our guys right now. You know, you really don't fine-tune everything until the end of the week. Usually get to that Friday and kind of clean up anything you got to clean up, whatever it is. But, you know, we're looking pretty sharp right now.
And just discuss, you know, your vision on, you know, when that ball's coming and, you know, what you know your blocker's supposed to do and how you got to set up those returns.
I mean, it's all about trusting the other 10 guys out there with you. You know, I've got a lot of experience returning kicks, but I could never do it without the other 10 guys out there. So it's all about trust, getting on the same page, kind of knowing how, you know, I'm going to be back there expecting things to be blocked and how they expect me to hit the holes and stuff like that. So, pause. But, you know, it's all about trust and decision-making and kind of just being fearless and hitting it.
Give us a quick primer on the rule changes on, you know, the kickoff rule change, how they're trying to, you know, make that big play again.
I mean, I feel like it's going to be a bigger part of the game just because of the minor and the major touchbacks this year. which I feel like a lot of fans don't and people watching don't really realize is like if that thing touches the end zone and doesn't touch inside the field of play, it's to the 35. So it's going to be a lot more strategic from the kicking game perspective, but that's why we got 2 guys back there just to kind of cover more room out there because these guys are going to be spraying it all over the place. So you got to put 2 guys out there to cover more ground. But it's going to be a big part of the game. I mean, teams are going to be trying to avoid kicking it through the end zone now because, you get the ball at the 35, you get 2 first downs, and you're past the 50 already. So it's just, I think the kicking game is back, and I love to see that, to be honest.
Right. Hey, now will they try to put it up higher? The kickoffs maybe like go higher so that guys got more time, or see less line drives through the end zone?
Nah, it'll be more just because the hang time with the kickoff specifically doesn't matter as much is because they're stationary.
Okay.
They can't move. They can't move until the ball's touched or it touches the ground. So it's not more about hang time. It's more about just placing the ball in spots that's tough to get for returners. But that's why we put 2 returners back there, and you'll probably see that trend throughout the league. But you put 2 dynamic guys back there, and it's a lot. It's a lot that can happen.
What do you enjoy about the way Marquise operates?
He just brings the energy all the time, and I've been around Keith for a while. Obviously, I was with him in Detroit for a couple years, and he just brings that energy. He's a good teacher. He knows how to teach the techniques and stuff, and I feel like guys gravitate towards that. He keeps the mood light.
How much was just your familiarity with Keith coming here? How much was that kind of a sign of relief for you?
It was a big part of the reason why I came here. I also heard a lot from like Mohamed Sanu and stuff about Ra and how cool Ra was and the type of coach and leader he was. So those are kind of the 2 main reasons why I chose to come here. But also just having that familiarity with Keith and the things we've done in the kicking game, the return game together in Detroit. So I just wanted to get that back. And then also I obviously missed the whole year last year. So I was just hungry. And this was a good opportunity for me to, be the punt and kick returner. So, I'm just looking forward to that.
You talk about that hunger. How much do you feel that from this entire team?
I feel like this team is hungry. I honestly watched this team a lot last year because, they had a lot of primetime games. So I was watching it, and obviously was watching it because I knew some guys on the team, and they were close to a lot of, being in that playoffs. And I don't have a ton of experience in the playoffs, but the time I did have in the playoffs, like there's nothing better than that. And I feel like this team is very close to that. Obviously, we got to go out there and improve it on the field. You can't be a playoff team on paper. You got to go out there, let your pads do the talking. But just watching this team last year and the energy they had, and some of the close games that they won, it's just cool to be a part of that.
You said the kicking game is back. How much do you feel like you guys are going to get a little bit more respect back this year?
Yeah, I feel like the kicking game kind of got phased out a little bit. Last year, they brought the new dynamic kickoff back, which kind of brought more kick returns and explosive plays to the game, which I'd love to see, like just sitting at home for a while. But like I said, the kicking game's back, man. I'm excited for it, and I can't wait to get in that end zone again.
Being a kick returner, punt returner, such a unique thing to specialize in the NFL. Did you have any return heroes that you kind of looked up to?
I mean, obviously Devin Hester, the GOAT. He had a short stint here. I got coached by Leon Washington for a couple years in Detroit, and I feel like he kind of took my return game to the next level. And so shout out to him. Like, he helped me a lot. Just, I think he had like 9 kickoff returns in his career total. So, just got a lot of free game from him, and I feel like he really took my game to the next level. But obviously Devin Hester, Dante Hall, grew up watching the Human Joystick. Being in Detroit, I used to watch a lot of like Mel Gray, all the old heads and stuff like that. So. There's a lot of great returns. I was with CP in Pittsburgh last year, so just being around guys like that, it just motivates me.
Coach Moore says emphasis on special teams this offseason. I know you were a big part of that.
Yes, sir.
How do you feel special teams units are ready for the season opener?
I think we got a lot of good players. I feel like we all got to come together, play as one big unit. I feel like we have the talent, to be a really good unit. But, Sunday it'll do all the telling.
Mm-hmm. And what's it been like working with Coach Williams again?
Man, it's an honor to work with Keith. That's who I've been working with for most of my career. I want to say 5 out of the 8. So it's an honor to be back with him. He knows my game. I know what he's expecting, inside of the team's game. So it's just a privilege to be working back alongside with him.
I think how important, I know how it is, but we like to ask, how important is that third phase of the game, flipping the field, maybe getting a big player here, there? I know you had the key block on quarter real record-breaking score.
Yeah, I think the third phase is a really important phase, especially with the new rules coming in with touchbacks being at the 35. I think that's going to be a big part in the game, controlling the field position from the jump. Also, you guys seen it a couple times last year. You've seen the third phase win the game, over here in Atlanta. So I feel like it's a real important phase where we're valued and we're coming to play.
Kyle Pitts, going into the season, how do you feel he's prepared here?
Excited where Kyle's at. Really healthy, moving around really well. He's had a great camp, up to this point, and the attention to detail, everything's there. So I'm fired up where Kyle's at. I know the rest of the guys are as well, and can't wait to see him cut it loose on Sunday.
And how do you feel? I know a couple weeks back you said you're close in your preparedness. How do you feel about Michael being prepared for the opener?
I think he's ready to go. Obviously we've had a great competitive training camp where we've repped a lot of the plays that we'll end up running on Sunday. Of course, there's going to be new things with the game plan specific, menu, but he's ready to go. We've got 3 more good days and really got Saturday as a cleanup walkthrough where we'll, exhaust all the preparation that we need for it. But he's ready to go. All these guys are ready to go. You're just fired up for the guys to just go play at this point, and it'll be fun to see them just cut it loose and see what we got on Sunday.
As for Darnell Mooney, just what have you seen from him? How's he looking out there? I know he's day-to-day.
Yeah, Mooney, day-to-day, but he looks good out there. He's running really well, catching the ball. Obviously, we'll keep monitoring the situation throughout the week, but, he's looked pretty good.
Zac, what's this offense going to look like when you're hitting on all cylinders?
Yeah, obviously there's a lot to that takes place over the course of a season. We won't look the same in week 1 that we do in week 9. Obviously we're hoping to get off to a fast start, execute. The first game is always about execution, taking care of the football, operation, procedure, all those things that go into winning the first game. But I'm excited to see, like I said earlier, the guys just cut it loose, go play. They've put in a ton of work from off season to now. So it's now time to just go play and see what we got. But, know that it's a long season. It's not a one-game season here. We want to start fast. We want to execute on Sunday and then just keep building from there.
What's the offensive line look like now with Caleb not being there? I mean, obviously we know who's going to take shots.
Yeah, of course, we'll miss Caleb there, but the guys filling in on the right side, we feel good about it. Those guys have been here. They've got a lot of reps. There's some continuity there that they have with the rest of the offensive line, with Coach Led and our offensive line coaches. So, again, those guys are as prepared as anybody to go out and just go play.
Specifically, you named Elijah Wilkinson the starter. What can you do to make sure that he is just as far along as you would, Caleb McGarry in this situation?
Yeah, Elijah's played a lot of football. He's got 45 starts. He's played a ton of snaps over his career. So for him, it's just playing football. He'll get out there. I'm sure everybody's going to have those pregame jitters that happens in the first game. But once the pads are set and you kind of get a few plays in, you just settle in and expecting Elijah to do a great job.
I asked Raheem about how he knows his team is ready for week 1. He said maturity is something he sees from this group, and seeing in meeting rooms how the meetings turn less into a lecture and more into a conversation. What's kind of your perspective on that?
Sorry, say that again?
Sorry.
Yeah, all good.
I asked Raheem about how he knows his team is ready for week 1. He said he's seen a lot of maturity from this group, and that in meeting rooms it's less of like a lecture and you guys talking to them, and it's more of like a conversation. What's your perspective on that?
No, 100%. Obviously going into year 2 now, like, we'll always ask for feedback from the players and, hey, Drake, how do you see this route? Here's my vision for it, but you're the one actually doing this on game day, so how do you see this? But it's always fluid. I think those guys know we want their feedback. We're not just stuck in a box here doing it just one specific way, and then obviously we'll combine to figure out what's the best way to do it. But it's a lot of fun. It's a great group of guys. Offensive line is just a bunch of good dudes. The backs, the tight ends, the receivers, we have a lot of fun. Those guys enjoy playing football together, so it is very conversational in the meethomes, and it's been really good up to this point.
Is there anything you look for as a coach to say, okay, I know my offense is ready because I saw this?
Yeah, I think that throughout the training camp you could feel us kind of start clicking, especially with the joint practices with Tennessee, the scrimmage against our defense, which those were our kind of live game reps for the ones. I thought those guys did a great job, and they've continued to build up to that point. But you never feel totally good until you leave Saturday. We have a big walkthrough on Saturdays. That kind of ties a bow on the week. But that's when I sleep a little bit easier, is when knowing like we leave that Saturday walkthrough with everything covered, check the box, and then the guys go play.
You mentioned Elijah, but then you also said players, or is it the plan to have him go the whole time, or could we see?
Yeah, I mean the plan would be Elijah. Obviously, we got the new guys in here that are ready to go in an instant. But yeah, Elijah's going there, and those guys are getting caught up to speed. And God forbid if something were to happen, those guys would be ready to go.
And I would think like things like getting the ball up quickly, chipping, maybe a tight end over there, are things we might see in terms of different ways to try to help them out.
Possibly, we'll see. Yeah, I mean, we'll see once the ball's kicked off exactly, what we got planned for that. But again, I have a ton of confidence in Elijah. He's a good pass protector. He's played a lot of football, so feel really good with him at that spot.
Talking about just generic game prep for this week, playing Tampa twice last year, and I mean, they do have a lot of guys defensively returning. I'm kind of curious, just your thoughts on what this matchup could look like, knowing kind of how much tape you'll have on them already.
For sure. There's, of course, week one, there still is a lot of unknown. We know this defense. We know Coach Bowles and what a great job he's done for a long, long time in this league. Coaching defense, obviously he's a great head coach, so we have a ton of respect for what they do. They make you prepare for a lot of different things, make sure that everything is sound from our perspective. But then again, we got to just we got to snap the ball and just go play. So, it's a great challenge for our guys. Like you said, they have a ton of guys returning, a lot of familiarity with, the offensive line. They've played against these guys, Vita and Cansey and those guys. And then in the back end, it's a lot of familiar faces, a couple new guys. Obviously, we know Levante David. So you get to these matchups, and it's just strictly about execution and making sure everything is on the screws with the details. And like I said earlier, taking care of the football is a big thing in week one. So it'll be a great battle. It'll be a great matchup for us, and I'm excited to see the guys go play.
One last thing about the Darnell piece of it all, and I know y'all are going to see how the week goes and make the decision later in the week as to what it looks like for him on game day. But how do you kind of weigh in the prep? Okay, you could potentially have Darnell, but you've also had Casey working pretty hard and doing some good things all throughout camp, and getting a chance to be up on game day. Like, how do you kind of weigh that, even in your own conversations with those guys?
Yeah, it's we have contingency plans in place for those situations. It's happened throughout every week. You're always kind of like, okay, is he going to be up? Is he going to be down? Obviously, we were very fortunate with the receiver, injuries last year. We stayed healthy, but Casey's done a great job. He's ready to step into that role if he needs to. But all of our guys, the good thing about our offense is we're moving guys around in all different spots. They understand the scheme. They understand what we're trying to get accomplished from a run game standpoint, our route stems, all those different details that come with it. So it'll be just obviously late in the week, once we for sure know, just mixing and matching and making sure, we're good with, whoever's going at that spot.
Regarding what I was asking before, how do you learn to be flexible and creative in your job in terms of this guy's out, we got to do this differently, or just as the game is going on, we need to do X better than whatever it is?
Yeah, a lot of it's just your preparation going in of what could possibly happen. There's always things that are unforeseen, and you just got to react quickly, adjust, and a lot of it is off the cuff. You just trust your preparation and what you've seen from the defense, what you know about your own personnel, and to say that there's just one magic formula is tough to say, but that's where you just trust the preparation, you trust your players that they can go out and execute, and just go cut it loose.
With someone like Elijah, and you sort of answered the question already, maybe it happened in the preseason, but how do you know, we know we can take on these players or whatever, or when is this formation he's going to need help or whatever? It's like when you haven't seen him at right tackle in your offense, how do you? Sure.
We've got a bunch of snaps with Elijah out there in practice, and obviously preseason as well. So we got a great feel. Led knows him as well as anybody, and I'm leaning on Coach Led with a lot of things just because he's been around Elijah, for a number of years now. So leaning on those guys, knowing what we see out on the practice field, and then obviously hoping it translates to the game.
This is completely unrelated, but I've always wanted to ask you this, and I'm going to get another chance like this. Your time at Pro Football Focus, I'm curious, what was that like for you, and how did it help you become
Yeah, it was.
part of the Falcons?
No, it was cool. It I met a lot of great people there. Neil Hornsby, who started PFF, got in touch with him. Bobby Slowick was working there at the time. I was, trying to figure out what I wanted to do. I had just got done playing. I had an elbow surgery, Tommy John, and so I was knew I wanted to stay in football. Wasn't quite ready to just dive into coaching yet, and got an opportunity to work with them. It was eye-opening in some regards in terms of some of the advanced analytics and some of those things which I was interested in. And then more importantly, I just knew they had access to every single game tape out there, and I wanted to keep watching football and watch NFL teams, college teams, keep studying the game. But the avenue that, a little unconventional going that route, but I was able to watch so much football over, the few years that I was there that it was really beneficial, and obviously got a kind of a broad landscape of the league, defenses, offenses, and it was a really cool job to be able to work from home. I was still training some quarterbacks on the side, but to be able to just watch football 24/7. You miss the coaching aspect of it, but you were able to watch a ton of tape and just learn some cool things about analytics.
And now that you're on this side, what do you think of the grading system they use?
Yeah, I like, with everything in football, there's no perfect stat. It's football. It's an imperfect game, as we all know, but I'm a fan of it. I look at it every once in a while. I think, obviously stats in a small sample size is always going to be tough, but you get over the course of a season, 2, 3, 4 seasons in, you look at it, and I think it is a good tool to use. It's not obviously the Bible in terms of, it's just hard to watch the tape and not understand exactly what everybody's responsibility is. But those guys do a good job. They do the best they can, and like I said, it's a good tool to I know it's fun for fans to keep up with. Offensive line, I know those guys don't typically like it, but again, it's a tool and it's something that's out there for the fans. And us as coaches, you might see something, but we know we have our own grading scale internally.